The nice thing about drug court is they have a wraparound. So they have me out in the community, they have a case manager, they have a mental health counselor, they have a treatment counselor. So basically we wrap around and show these guys that we care, because a lot of these people in coming up through the system, they don't have a family. They don't have nothing, everything that they have to work for, and pretty soon it just gets on top of them. They might have been beat up by their stepfathers growing up. They might have been molested as a kid. So every person has a story, and without having somebody that cares and somebody to wrap around them, nothing's gonna work, and that's how drug court works. So we brought 3 members tonight. We're also gonna come back on January 9th. We'll bring new faces in. So it's not the same stories, but I just want you guys to open up your hearts and listen to their stories. And after each one's done speaking, we'll open up questions for that individual where you guys can ask questions. So we'll start with Mr. John Parker. If you could just stand back here to tell your story.
Hi, my name's John. This program, I don't know what I would do without this program. This program saved my life. Before this program, all I knew was to run the streets and be a piece of crap and be the Grinch. You were saying, you know, I was the worst of the worst. There comes a time in life when you just hit rock bottom and you have nowhere else to go and want to do good in life. I mean, at that time, I didn't think I had anywhere to go or anything good could come into my life. And then this program, I mean, at first they didn't want to give me the program, but I ended up getting it, and ever since then, I mean, it saved my life. It's given me multiple opportunities to better my life. I've gotten so much out of this program, I can't even name them all. You know, I got a roof over my head, from a couple cars to a job to insurance to my license to numerous things, you know. I never thought in a million years I'd have my family back, to sitting here with the guys who arrested me, you know, to talking to you guys. You know, I was the worst of the worst. You know, if you mentioned my name out there, people would tell you that I'm a piece of crap, but these days, I mean, I'm allowed anywhere and everywhere. I mean, I hold my head up high, and I try and do this program a lot of good. You know, make them proud. Yeah, I don't know what I would do without this program. I wake up every day thanking God, and these guys that I'm in the program, and yeah. If you guys have any questions, it's fine. Let me see. I lived with my dad my whole life, right? It was me and my brother. My parents got split up. My dad got into drugs for about 6 months. I was 17. My brother was about to turn 13. My dad got into drugs for about 6 months. He actually cut his arm. Got prescribed a bunch of pain pills. Got strung out on those for 6 months. Well, I came home from school one day and found my dad dead. I was 17 years old, and it devastated my little brother, because my little brother, we were all close, you know. I got no mother, just my dad, you know. He worked, he was a logger his whole life, worked every day. I mean, he was a good dad. Anyways, it devastated my little brother. The day before his 13th birthday, he's supposed to become a man, you know, and we lost our dad. So I felt like I needed to step up to the plate, you know, and be there for him. Well, he ended up, about a year later, getting into drugs before me, which led me getting into drugs. Which that's how I got started into drugs. I mean, I had everything. I went to school, had my whole life ahead of me, and in a blink of an eye, you're just running the streets, and before you know it, you're 5, 10 years that went by, 4 prison sentences later. I mean, I was just in jail a few months ago. My little brother just OD'd. He went to Cedar in Seattle for. He did the program up there, which is a year-long program. He got out. He had a job in the union. Got out. He ended up getting in a fight with his girlfriend, ODing. Well, he moved back down here. He went 30 minutes without oxygen into the brain. He was in a coma for 60 days. This is while I was in jail. Worst time of my life ever when I was in jail, because calling home every day, making sure my little brother was all right. You know, I was stressed out the whole time. I feel like if I would have, before my brother OD'd, he would call me, and this is when I was still using. He would call me every day when he's doing good and say, hey, bro, when are you going to come up here and better your life, you know? When are you going to come up? I had a bedroom waiting for you, you know? And I was just stubborn and so far gone that I was just, yeah, I love you, I'll talk to you later, you know? And then I went to jail, and then I called home one day, and my mom says, your brother's in a coma, you know? That right there, I feel like if I would have hopped into the program or been smart enough a few months before that I could have maybe prevented my brother from being how he is today. I mean, I stay clean for myself mostly, you know? I'd say 99%, but that 1% goes to my brother, you know? I devote a lot of it to him and my family, to just being a better person, being a good role model to these guys, to everybody, you know? If I can change my life and be a better person, anybody can. That's the truth.
Well, I'll tell you what.
My name is Caitlin. I started this program about a year ago. November 5th was a year. What got me into this program, I was doing a lot of stupid stuff to a lot of, good people. I was sitting in jail and they offered me drug court, and I thought, it's gotta be better than I've never been to prison. I don't wanna ever go to prison. But I've got children, I've got family that cares about me, and just, what other choice did I have in prison? So in the beginning of the program, it was a little rough for me. I missed a couple UAs and stuff like that, and it was really rough and discouraging, but after getting some time under my belt and getting with the program, I started to turn around. I got my license back. I started going to college. I talked to my children. I have a life now where I didn't before. I thought it was easy then, but it was so hard. It was so miserable, and I'm so happy that I chose this program. It's changed my life. I've gotten back things that I didn't think I'd ever get, like my license. I haven't had my license since 2006. We go to meetings every day. We do treatment programs. Any questions? I was married for 8 years. My husband was in the military, and he committed suicide in 2012. So I lost my children. So I just didn't know any other way. Well, I just thought it'd be easier that way, but it wasn't. Took my life, took my children, took everything.
How many clean days do you have then?
I have 1 year, 2 months, and some change. Unfortunately, for my husband passing away, I get survivor benefits. So, but it just wasn't enough. And I couldn't get enough drugs to hold me down to be able to hold down a job. My whole life revolved around getting them, how I was gonna get them, like doing them, and everything revolved around them. I couldn't wake up without them. It was a miserable way to live.
I'm Troy. I'm sure everybody in this room pretty much knows my family. I have a great family background. I have no reason to ever use drugs, but somewhere along college, I decided to get high and never went up from there. It just went down. I supported my habit with stolen property. They named me the prolific car prowler of Washington State twice. That was my thing. I like to break into cars, and did that for a lot of years. I've been using drugs since I was 17, 18, something like that, a lot of years. I'm 32. I have 11 felonies. I've been in prison 3 times, and never learned one thing in 1 second of any prison stay I've ever been in, or county jail, or anything other than criminology, how to be a better criminal. What led me to this program was Jamie saying either sign or don't and go to prison, but I had no other choice. I signed, and immediately I started using drugs. I went to treatment, and I came out, and ever since I went to treatment, I've been sober, and I've not had one infraction, one problem. I love this program. I love what they're doing. Someone and Jamie saved my life, and that's it. That's all I got. I think it's 285, something like that. I just looked at it, but yeah. Yeah.
So when you were breaking into cars, what are some of the things that you looked for that was like, that's the car I'm going to break in? Like,
There's always
what
that
are
hot
common
one that is
factors?
So you need advice on what not to do.
Exactly.
Biggest thing I can tell you what not to do is leave anything in sight. If you're gonna leave your purse in there, stuff it under the seat. If you're gonna, my career right now, I'm a diesel mechanic. I love cars. I've been a mechanic. I went to school for it. I love cars. I had a real moral code when I broke into cars. I never broke windows. I never damaged any property. It was more just locking your guys' doors for you most of the time. But park your cars in a garage. If you can't, park it under a street light right in front of your house. Lock your doors. And don't keep anything valuable. I mean, even an expensive car seat. Hide it. I mean, that's it. Me and another person in this program, we were pretty much the car prowlers of Grace Harbor, and I reached out to Thurston, to Pierce, I was all over the state doing the same stuff, but I mean, if he was standing here next to me, all we would do is flashlight, anything cool, nothing, flashlight, something cool, we'd have keys, and we would jiggle your car open, take whatever we wanted, and then leave. And I would even lock your doors for you.
So if you have, my car has a back cover, does that help at all? Like just putting because I have a Prius with like a hatchback with a window, and it has like a slide cover on there. Is that something that you look for going, oh, there must be something underneath there? I always wonder
if it's
about
closed, there are people that would. I wouldn't personally, because it's a Prius.
Thanks.
I'm not saying it's a joke. I'm saying it's a Prius. They're really hard to get into without.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. But I mean, around this time of year, if you're gonna go shopping, go home afterwards. Don't go to the store. Don't do nothing. I mean, if I see your car full of TVs or Christmas presents, I would get into it. You know what I mean? And there are people out there that they would break your windows, all your windows, if the TV was big enough. You know what I mean? Just hide your stuff. That's it. Lock your doors. If you have a criminal that really wants to get into your car, he's gonna do it. I mean, there's nothing you can do to stop it. Even if it's in your garage, or I mean, I've opened cars, grabbed your garage door opener, and went straight to your house. You know what I mean? And thank God I got caught for that and did some prison time. But I mean, if you have garage door openers, keep them in your glove boxes, and registrations, even hide them if you know what I mean. I look at the registration, get your address, get your garage, and go right to your house. So, and thank God I'm clean now. So, yeah. What kind of car do you have? What kind of car do you have? Make, model your car is. They have a set of anywhere from 8 to 14 keys, right? So you get 4 of the different keys, and you flatten them down to where they look old and beat up. You can put that key in and twist it and pull it back and forth, and it'll unlock your doors. Really? Any Honda I can get into within seconds. If you have a Chevy from 89 to 2003, I suggest you upgrade them, because they have one set of keys, and there's only four different styled keys, but they all use set of 8 different cut patterns, and I had one key that I could get into any Chevy for 15 years. The best thing I ever had was my collection of keys, and honestly, these guys have taken them from me, and that hurt more than going to jail. I swear. I had a set of Honda and Chevy keys that were more valuable to me than anything. I mean, I could get into any Chevy, any Honda.
So you mentioned that the Prius was hard to get into.
No.
Why would it be harder? Is it because it doesn't have a key, or so?
No, Toyota has different. I don't know how to describe this. No, the chip doesn't matter. The chip only matters if you try to steal a car. I've never stole a car in my life. I mean, it's the way they make their keys. They have a higher end key, so there's more cut patterns. And if I was to try to get into your car, I wouldn't use a key, and it'd probably take me to this car, and it was in a church parking lot on a Sunday. It was terrible, but mind you, I get into the car, it was a Chevy, and I'm sitting there, and I open up the glove box, the dude's wallet's there, and another thing, and I just felt weird, so I closed it, and I turned around, and this guy's right here, opening the car door, right? And I immediately looked at him, I was like, oh man, I thought this was my girlfriend's car, and literally convinced him that I wasn't breaking into his car. He brought me into church, I sat in church with him.
With the program, I mean, there is an epidemic of opioid abuse and drug abuse, and your experience being in that world, and with drug court, what was the biggest factor that was like, out of all the programs that I'm assumed you've probably been offered with going to jail and rehab, why was it this program that was like, that's it, I'm done, I'm not doing this anymore? What was that one defining factor into it?
I've been to treatment 4 times outside of this is before I ever went to jail. Like I said, I've been to prison 4 times. I went to jail on this charge, and my kid behind the glass, and I made a commitment to myself to not watch him grow behind glass, and that was it. And I'm here, so kid was my driving force for as far as I made it today.
So it was being connected with your family and your child, and
Yeah.
having something to go make yourself better for.
Yeah, my mom seen me grow up. I mean, I've done most of my adult life in prison, and she's seen me grow up in visiting rooms, and you know what I mean, become a man in prison. And I don't want my kid to have to see me. I don't want to miss my kid's 5th birthday or his 6th birthday. And yeah, I would have done anything not to do that.
So a lot of these guys that are in this program, like they said, they've been through this time and time again. This program is intense. And I honestly don't have all the specifics. Maybe Jamie could answer more why. I think there's a little bit tighter control as far as knowing what they're doing, following up on them. Shane drives around in his car and follows them and looks at them and makes sure they're at their jobs and sees what they're doing. But the other thing is it's also kind of carried out in front of them, because a lot of these guys have lengthy prison sentences being held over their head. And for them to get in the program, they plead guilty and they say, if I don't come through with this program, I'm taking my full sentence. So they have incentive in that way too. But they've also been down, and I know you guys have heard me talk about the drug court program, and this is why, because the guys that I've been my whole career chasing and arresting and been around, they're all in there. There are a couple that are graduating. It's one of his partners he's talking about. I've arrested him numerous times. He's a little kid. I've arrested him, and it's just amazing to me that they're having such success. In my 26 years of law enforcement, I've seen lots of programs. Yeah, people get clean on their own. Sometimes they do it through prison. Sometimes they just make a choice and do it. But this program in general has a much higher success rate than I've seen anywhere else. So that's why I'm giving a lot of praises. And the other thing that I've been talking about a lot, as you guys know also, is a new jail for the sheriff's office in the county. But it's errantly apparent to all of us in the county that we are never going to build a jail big enough with enough beds that we can afford to adequately, house all the criminals we have. This is what we need to invest more time in. One, it's a less cost, believe it or not, to do this, and just the fact that these guys are not committing crimes for the past 2 years, as Jamie is talking about. You come back on the 9th when she does that and shows you the fact that, and I'm not going to tell you it's modest numbers, because not only are you taking the cost of incarcerating them and feeding them and the medical costs, the cost of, like you said, thousands of things. They're stealing out there, stealing constantly. And the one thing is the common thread among all of them. He didn't steal because he just liked to steal. It's because he paid for his drugs. You know, that's all these guys. It's the same thing. They're doing all these same crimes because they can't afford the drugs. There's no way they can afford it other than stealing, and that's why they do all these minor crimes. His thing is car thefts. Some of the other ones are burglars. I mean, one of his partners, he got shot, you know, breaking into stuff, and he got shot by a citizen. And so, I mean, he's lucky to be alive. But again, I think I know that in order for us to help, you know, the jail situation and where we're at for these smaller misdemeanor crimes, and the violent crimes, we're gonna have to invest in more programs like this. This program itself needs to be expanded greatly, and that's my opinion. But I think you're just seeing some great examples of why it's working. And this isn't just the guys; these are, like you said, I'll just say, you guys said it. They're the worst of the worst. I mean, they are. They really are. The guys that are graduating, the worst of the worst, and it's working. And I don't care if it even worked for 3 years. This 3 years better than we've ever done putting them in jail. All we do is keep them out of circulation for a little while. So, anyways.
Can't answer that. My thing, I had a great job, great family, and I was in college, in high school, and it just clicked one day. I got bored. That was it. More awareness, I guess. I don't know if they do DARE anymore, but that would have been huge. Like a older DARE, something that kept going through high school instead of going to drinking and partying. I mean, let's go have a meeting, kick it. You know what I mean? Something like that, but. Yeah, there was nothing in high school.
They're trying to bring the DARE program back right now. I was just actually in the new video with Officer Neal. It's on YouTube or whatever. There's no DARE program in the schools today for kids, and he made like a 40-minute video with a bunch of us. I was actually in county jail when he came and filmed the video, and he wants to do because this was like before and after, he wants to film me again. Yeah, he wants, because I mean, I was 50 pounds less, you know, I might have been clean in jail, whatever, you know, but just, the test starts when you get out.
So bring your kids to meet us.
Yeah.
Don't scare them straight, you know what I mean?
So is there a program that you would suggest kind of in high school that you can say, you know what, if they, outside of DARE, because I remember doing the DARE program when I was a kid.
That was great at school.
And I also had 2 uncles that were hardcore drug addicts who were great, like, don't do drugs, this is what happened. So that kept me pretty straight. But, I mean, if you had a second to think about it offhand, what could the schools be doing differently right now that could have possibly prevented you two from either starting drugs or continuing down that road with drug use?
I think life just happens because I went to school. I had the big brothers that did drugs that deterred me from doing drugs for a while. I didn't start until I was 24 years old. But I think life just happens sometimes. And
It's such a small town. Yeah. There's nothing for the kids to do. I mean, we go
So
to
do you think
school,
maybe
we
the
leave
school could offer like more dances or more like Friday and Saturday
more easy to do.
engagements?
I mean, a school dance is going to lead to, hey, what are you doing afterwards? You know, and afterwards is going to lead to, let's do that again next weekend.
I didn't go to my senior
every
prom
day.
because I went to the beach instead of the party. You know what I mean?
I mean, I talked to my little brother. My little brother's 12 years old, and he's telling me how kids are vaping in school. You know, in 7th, 8th grade, out smoking cigarettes, smoking weed. He even told me there's a few of them that have tried heroin, and they're in 7th and 8th grade. That's crazy. That blows my mind. And I've sat them
It
all
is
down.
becoming an issue at
Yeah.
Miller Junior High
Yeah.
and
Everywhere.
Aberdeen High
It's
School.
not just, it's
No,
everywhere.
it's everywhere.
It's
So the
everywhere.
reason why I'm asking is because I'm the PTO president for Miller Junior High, and I would love to have some solutions to bring, because this is a common question that we get is, what do we do? And we do school dances, we do family nights.
programs or like after school programs.
They do have an after-school program, but then it ends. They have a Title I, which is a funded after-school program. But I've noticed some of the issues happen on like Friday night and Saturday night when there is no after-school program or there is nothing to do. And I'm just curious, being in that mindset of when you were trying drugs and doing the partying. Is there something you think, well, if the school would have done this, or if they would have provided this,
No matter
would
what,
it
no
have
matter what the
helped?
school did, I still would have done what I did. Point blank period. I mean, kids are gonna be kids. You know what I mean? We're gonna go and I'm not a kid no more, but they're gonna experience life. I mean, you just gotta be there to stop them. You know what I mean? To say, okay, you did that. What'd you learn from it? I mean,
You know, I wonder honestly, hearing from these guys, you know, to hear their experiences, to let them know that, you know, I was a kid too. I thought it was cool just to start out smoking a little pot, and then next thing you know, I tried pills, and the next thing you know, here I am. And so I don't know. I'm not saying that that's the answer, but I